G'day, welcome to today's episode of Inside the Journey. We're part 2 of talking with Bjarke. Bjarke, welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Now, last time we had a chat, we were talking a little bit about your journey from childhood through to through schooling a little bit, study, and then into into your working life, a little bit relational, and then you had a diagnosis of schizophrenia. Thank you so much for that, by the way.
You're welcome.
Tell us a little bit about, we touched a little bit on relationships and some of the things that you've experienced around relationships.
Yes.
Could you just tell us a little bit more about what that's like for you? What works well when it comes to relationships? What's been a little bit more difficult for you? And how important is it to actually help others and contribute to the lives of others as well?
Yeah. Okay. Well, relationships are difficult. They're more complex and a different sort of vibe, if you know what I mean. As you get diagnosed, they say you don't change personality, but it does change it a bit. And when you have medication, it does change it a little bit too. They say it doesn't, but I'm not so sure about that. But basically, a person who doesn't understand the complexities of any mental health, it's a little bit more troublesome for them to accept, to understand what's going on, whereas people with similar diagnoses have an idea and empathy, say, okay, this is happening, all right. And then you need to discuss about when you are not in a good place, what helps you get out of the good place. Support from your family and your loved ones are important. So yeah, it can be confronting for a person new to the diagnosis, or their family or friends new to the diagnosis. It's quite complex and on borderline pretty hard.
Do you, when you were diagnosed, how did your family take that? You've got brothers?
They were okay. My extended family didn't care. They weren't interested and stuff like that. I feel my brothers are caring, and they've got my back, but and so is my mum and stepdad and all that sort of stuff, and stepmum. But it takes time. It takes time to realise that you're not so well some days, and that's okay. That's okay.
And so, do you, when you wake up in the morning, for example, you might not be feeling so great. How do you know that? Like, is it just do you just sort of figure that out as you start to move through the morning?
I think it's intrusive thoughts, really. To be honest, I think I've noticed
negative kind of thoughts.
Lots of different things. Not necessarily negative, but continual thought patterns. There's psychological books that will help you understand what is going on, which is important. So, like education from not only for the person suffering with mental health, but their family, so they have an idea. Look, lots of thoughts could be good, could be bad, could be in between, but you just have to ride the storm, really, and get and listen to what your body and mind's saying in that things might help you, like meditation or playing a musical instrument, reading, having coffee with people.
Just tell us about that. You mentioned about having coffee with people. So
social interaction is important.
Socialising is important for you?
Oh, very much so. And as you get better, those conversations are broader. A lot of people don't get outside the mental health realm. Some professionals say I'm well, so go outside mental health realms for friends and family and stuff, and girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever it is. So I think they generally stick around each other. And then relationships are created or destroyed during that.
Sure.
But yeah, definitely if you get outside, like a social role valorization and stuff like that, so you're in the community and say, oh, you're all right. you know, and that is a big thing.
Sure.
Social support,
Yeah.
not only from immediate family, friends, loved ones,
Yeah.
but a general wider perspective of society.
Yeah, yeah. And at the end of our last chat, we just touched on how important it is to contribute to the lives of others and to help other
absolutely.
people, etc. What's that like for you? Do you have some people in your life that they just happen to need some help, so you're there and you're able to help, or do you sort of seek people out to help them a little bit? How does that work for you?
Interesting enough, that I just started helping friends. And
yeah.
I'm well enough to do that. I'm able to, over decades, it's not like a normal brain change, it's a while. And then I managed to help some of my friends, and word got around that I helped a few people. And so, yeah, I got asked a few, like an older lady in her 90s to help her do stuff, because I'm free at the time of business, and she trusts me and stuff like that.
Great.
So referral, do I look out for them? In the society, if I see someone struggling, I will help, regardless of what's happening. Monetary is important in that you can't just let people help. You can help them, yes you can, but it doesn't have to be a monetary thing, but it can be like a cup of tea or whatever. It doesn't really matter what it is, but as long as they respect you enough to say, okay, well, you're helping me a lot here, how can I help you? Or just, if they don't have the money or the ways, mentally ways, you let it slide, and it's like, okay, I hope you get better, I'll keep going, helping you out.
Amazing, that's amazing. I mean, and it's just reminding, as a person of faith, one of the things that Christ says he's talking about, it's better to give than to receive. And I think that kind of touches on that that very powerful truth, that how does that help you then if you might be having a bad day? Does that mean you still can serve, and does that lift your spirits, I guess, in a sense?
It does. Helping people does give you a good positive kick of whatever it is, like endorphins and stuff like that. In your mind, if you change your mind to being a caring person, or a kind person, it doesn't have to be overnight. It's just your brain slowly changes with active emotions, thoughts, and also acts of kindness and stuff. And it does help. It's not completely altruistic, but I'm happy to help people, and I get a kick out of it for myself, which means, hey, I'm all right, but that's okay. They are okay. And what I like to do is tell my story in the broader community, not because I want understanding and stuff. I'm trying to de-stigmify mental health in a smaller community. It can be difficult. So if someone says, "Oh, Bjarke's okay, I'll give this other guy a chance, or a lady, or whatever it is," it might be something like that, something simple. "Oh, how you doing?" "All right, no worries." And unfortunately, the people who need the most help stick out like sore thumbs when they're not well, or when they're on the way not well, or whatever. And the ones that are doing well, myself, kind of fly underneath the radar. Because people say, "Oh, you sound normal, you act normal, you know, you're okay." But it took me a while to get there, and I just want someone else to say, "All right, we'll give you a go in whatever it may be."
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's more of a storytelling for the community.
How do you go processing? Obviously, you're on that journey with friendships and relationships and those dynamics. What about the day-to-day, like things like budgeting and shopping and sort of getting around the day-to-day, moving through crowded places and all those sort of things?
Crowds were difficult to begin with, but you calm down and stuff like that. A lot of things, I do have anxiety, and it does lock sometimes. But if you sit and persevere using mindfulness, breathing, and let that anxiety wash all over you and experience what it is, and not give it power, emotional power, but to actually say, okay, this is happening for me. Doesn't mean that I'm in danger. I need to relax and deal in a positive way. There's a lot of ways of doing anxiety reduction and crowd control for yourself in it.
Sound like a security guard.
Yeah,
Doing crowd control.
Yeah, well, it's controlling your help.
Definitely.
Controlling your anxiety. That goes with everything else, trauma and stuff.
Yeah. So overall, you're quite able to move about, just in shopping centres and just doing those sort of things.
Yeah, and some people are not.
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing about it.
Mm.
I was there, and it's not nice.
Yeah.
But hey, get out there, get in the sun, get into society, and just have a good day.
Yeah.
With of course, that changing from being good and kind person, I suggest my friends be someone who you want to be and admire, and be gentle on yourself. A lot of people are not gentle on themselves, and that's really sad, because that self-esteem building, the kindness, the stuff that you need, is often destroyed by the negative thoughts, bad thoughts about yourself, etc., or paranoia about yourself or others, or stuff like that.
Yeah. So, with your, I guess, some of your social circle, are they people who are also walking through mental health?
Yeah, most of them are. I have some non-mental friends, and they're all good.
Yeah.
Mostly have mental health or something similar.
Do you find you can encourage one another and help one another?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well?
Yes, yeah. Some, when you have a meltdown, they get big as you start, but the idea is to slowly reduce that mental meltdown occasions, and you're up and down. You're always going up and down, and stuff like that, with different emotions, different thoughts, intrusive thoughts, stuff.
So oftentimes when we hear the word meltdown, we'll think of someone,
losing their stuff.
Yeah, it could be road rage, or they're at the shops and something goes wrong and they just lose their mind. But when you talk about meltdown, what are you sort of referring to? Is it a silent sort of thing?
It's often not seen.
Yep.
When you are having a crappy day, you might tap out from society for the day, or try and share it with your friends. But most of my friends can't do that. They're doing their own stuff to try and get themselves better. But yeah, I don't really have many mental health days anymore.
Okay.
Meltdowns, but don't give the meltdowns and the anxiety, the paranoia, emotional power, because it's only a feeling. It's not who you are. It's just the feeling that you experience. And do some mindfulness and calm. And I did that today. I was lucky. Yeah. But I started working today. So okay.
Just quickly, sort of coming a little bit to the end of our conversation. Goals, dreams, ambitions. How do you sort of formulate those, and how do you sort of achieve them? What do you sort of? Well, do you have some goals that you're sort of working towards, and what does that look like for you?
I have. Be positive about your goals. Be attainable about your goals. Write a diary for your goals, a timeline for your goals.
Great.
And don't worry if people don't understand or respect those goals. That's okay. They're not their goals. It's your goals. So I think that's important, and I think getting a plan in action, and like I say, I'm reading a book about psychology, and my goal is to read 20 pages a day or every second day, every day. And it's a good thing. It makes your mind active and makes your concentration powers a lot better.
Great.
And a lot of today's youth and people, their concentration power is not as good as it was. Yep. Simply because of the speed of life and the phones and all that.
Technology.
Technology, yeah.
Definitely.
So yeah, read books and play guitar or whatever you got to do.
Great.
To increase that concentration span.
Great. That's awesome. Awesome. Once again, it's been an insightful conversation. What would you say to someone that's they might be watching this and they're having a bit of a bad day? What would you say to them? Time. Yep.
Time heals.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of time. Yeah.
Yep.
Just be patient, and definitely be patient about yourself, with yourself.
Yep.
and allow time to slowly get better.
Yep. Yeah, that's great.
Providing you the right things. That's the next thing.
That's great. That's great. Well, Bjarke, thank you so much again for your time,
No worries,
for
man.
your insight. It's great just listening to your journey.
Yep.
Guys, if you've enjoyed this video, leave a comment, like, subscribe.